Hello everyone, hi. So this week I announced that I am pregnant, and it came as a massive shock to myself, so I think it came as a shock to a lot of people, but I received such an overwhelming response and so many questions that I thought I would just do a pregnancy Q&A. I think the reason why I got so many questions is because I was very honest about it. This wasn't planned. I was on the pill and I have been on the pill for 14 years. So it did take us by surprise, and yeah, but I am really happy. We are really happy. We're really excited. It also comes as a shock to us because we have been in a relationship for 7 months strong. A really good relationship. However, obviously, in an ideal world for myself, I would have waited at least a couple more years. I have always thought I might have children at the age of around 33 to 34. I'm 30 next year, so not far off, but still a few years off from now. However, that being said, you can't plan life and things just happen, and to be honest, you're faced with questions, decisions and situations that you have to just decide for yourself whether it's the right thing at the right time, and sometimes the best things are unplanned. Anyway, who makes up the rules? Like, society says that we shouldn't do things, and we should do things in a certain way, we should do things in a certain amount of time, etc. But at the end of the day, it's our journey, it's your journey, and we can do things in our own way and make up our own rules when it comes to our own lives. This is going to be a pregnancy Q&A part 1. Because I had so many questions and I don't want to make this video so long that it becomes a little bit boring. If you've got any other questions or you want to discuss something else, then leave a comment down below. If you don't already follow me on Instagram, it's at Jonsie for more kind of pregnancy updates. So yeah, let's get to it. Let's do the Q&A because I know that's why you'll be watching this. First question is, how did you get pregnant on the pill? I'm paranoid now. Oh, I hate that you're paranoid. I mean, to be totally honest, it was the same question I had when I went to the doctors, because I was like, I've been on the pill for 14 years. I've never had this before. How does that happen? And she gave me kind of several different answers. The first one being, okay, did I miss the pill consecutively on days? And I said, no, I didn't. I don't recall missing it, even if I'd missed one. And she said, no, if you miss one, you're unlikely to get pregnant. So she said it has to be consecutively. That didn't happen. She then said, did you have any sickness or diarrhea? Because when you have sickness and diarrhea, the pill doesn't actually work. So girls, ladies, women out there, just be mindful that the pill does not work and you are not protected. That's something I definitely wouldn't have thought about. Even if I was sick, I wouldn't have thought, oh, my pill's not working now, so got to be careful. And when the doctor asked me that, I said, I wouldn't be able to tell you that, because sometimes we do have days where we have diarrhea or sickness, don't we? And you move on from that day and you forget about it. So I honestly couldn't remember. Another reason is, she said that the pill is, I've written this down, the pill is 99.7% effective. That means 1 out of 100 women who take the pill would become pregnant in a year. So you could be that small percentage of people that gets pregnant. And that potentially as well could be a reason for why I did. I mean, Matt and I joke about this because I call him super sperm, because like, I had walls up and you still got through. The doctor said to me, sometimes Mother Nature has a way of making things happen. And that's when she was talking about the real small percentage of women who do get pregnant, even on the pill. I'm a big believer in everything happens for a reason, and I believe that this little blessing in my belly right now is definitely happening for a reason, because it wasn't in my plan, it wasn't on my vision board, it wasn't something that I'd even considered to have in the next 2 years. Let's move on to the next question. First trimester symptoms, the struggles and the real side. I will share the struggles and the real side constantly on my Instagram channel. I'm not afraid to share the honest and the real side of anything, because we all go through our own struggles, and it's not all glamorous, is it? First symptom that I ever got was really sore boobs. I genuinely thought it was just because I was coming on my period, but they were like razor sharp nipples. I was like, oh, it even hurt to put my bra on. They've actually got more comfortable as I've gone into my second trimester now, so they're a lot easier to manage. Another symptom that I had was nausea, or as people call it, morning sickness. So the nausea happened in the morning initially. It was awful. Like, honestly, I was on the tube back when we used to go on the tube. That's another term for a train if you're not from the UK. And I honestly thought I was going to throw up. And the really interesting thing is that I never actually threw up. The nausea come in waves. So it was like all of a sudden, it was, oh my God, I feel so sick. And then it would just die down. I learned that ginger, so like ginger biscuits, ginger tea was like the best thing for it. Towards the end of my first trimester, I actually found nausea was in the evenings, which I found really strange. Another symptom was mood swings, and Matt can vouch for this one. I mean, they're still going. I am quite an emotional person anyway. I'm really in touch with my emotions. I'm an empath. This really did send my moods like up, down, up, down. I'll never forget this one. My friend Sophie from work, we went to lunch and I was walking along London, and we crossed the zebra crossing, and this guy was so impatient that he was like effing and blinding, and usually I'd be like, oh, you know, go away. But instead I just turned around and went, it's a zebra crossing, you effing, like, I literally went mental, and Sophie was like, are you okay? Okay, moving on. Constipation and bloating. I mean, it says it on the tin, doesn't it? It is painful, and actually it sounds a bit crazy, but it feels like if you push any more, like when you're constipated, that you're gonna actually push the baby out. Sounds mental, but it actually does feel like that, because you can feel it's here and you're like, oh my God, like my stomach's bloated and everything. So initially you can't actually, like, I couldn't do my jeans up properly because it was just from bloating. Extreme tiredness and exhaustion. Like, I was at work at this point, and obviously you can't share with anyone like how you're feeling and what's going on because you're trying to keep it a secret. And I was finding myself really struggling, like really tired by the end of the day, to the point I got in and I was just so exhausted I would just fall asleep. One of the other things I wanted to point out is I experienced a decrease in my sex drive. So I had zero. Like, where has my sex drive gone? Like, for some reason, down below feels different. It's a little bit more moist. I hate that word, but it is, and a little bit more softer. I don't know why, everything just felt a little bit different as well. However, going into second trimester, I'm like, well, hey, I've got it back, and it is even more so. And that's quite a typical symptom apparently of the second trimester, is that you get a real increase in your sex drive again. So I put down cravings and appetite. The first trimester I had this insatiable appetite, like I wanted to eat everything all the time. And second trimester, I've lost my appetite really. Like, I know I have to eat for the baby and the nutrients, so I make sure that I'm eating, but that doesn't mean to say I actually want to eat. My cravings in my first trimester was chicken salad sandwiches. Like, I honestly wanted them for breakfast, lunch and dinner. I genuinely had some for lunch and dinner plus other food. Also, to be totally honest, random discharge in your knickers, but it's different, it's thicker. Obviously, they're kind of like all the physical side effects. I wanted to talk a little bit more about the mental side effects. So I really struggled during my first trimester, and I think it was to do a lot with the confusion around having this baby, you know, whether it was the right thing for me, like whether it was, could I be a mum, like all of those negative thoughts that I had. I think that didn't help, along with actually going through everything that you're going through. And another factor is that you don't tell everyone until you know that everything is okay. I really did struggle with anxiety, that I was worried, anxious, upset, like quite sad, quite depressed. And I also felt really in love, really happy, really solid, really excited. Like I would have these waves, like up and down, and they would change on a daily basis. And I remember saying to Matt, nothing prepares you for this, and I was crying. God, I sound like a nightmare, don't I? poor Matt had to deal with those, but he did a really good job. Great job, Matt. In the sense of smell, I went off coffee. I am a coffee addict. I was having coffees every day, so to not have coffee was like, whoa, like it actually made me want to vomit. How did you cope not telling anyone? It was actually easier than I thought it was going to be. What you brought me? Oh, he's brought me a sandwich. Oh, so cute. Oh, and that's why I'm having a baby with him. I was trying to deal with all of the emotions myself, along with Matt. So it was actually easier to keep it a secret at that point. I would say it was easy to keep it a secret up until probably around 9-10 weeks. And then I was like, oh, I'm gonna need to share this soon. But obviously I wanted to have the scan and to make sure that the baby was healthy and everything's good. So how did I cope? All right, actually. One piece of advice I probably would give to people is, if you can and you feel comfortable, then I would share it with someone confidentially at work, because I feel like that really helped me massively to have a support at work. While I was going through these kind of really bad symptoms was really helpful. And also it just kind of felt nice to know that even if, you know, I am super tired, you know, when everything's going on emotionally and personally, then they're aware of that. So I think that was really, really helpful for me. And then, you know, I did share the news with my family and a few friends. Are you worried about your new relationship? I found this one really interesting, actually. And she also put, I'm really sorry I'm being nosy. It's fine. Absolutely not, to be totally honest. We're really solid, and it sounds crazy because we have only been together for 7 months, and it feels like we've been together a lot longer than that. If anyone's followed me on Instagram for a while, they know that I've always been very unlucky in love. And I have shared a lot of that. So it's really nice to be in a very safe, loved, secure relationship, and one that feels that I can be myself. Obviously, to both of us, this wasn't our plan of action. And I think if we had it, you know, our way, we would have said in a couple of years' time, yes, it would have happened. So the way that we're seeing it, it was going to happen, so it's just happened sooner rather than later. Of course, I've had my worries, as any normal person would. It's not been long enough, like, is this going to survive? Like, all of those questions. Obviously, coronavirus literally forced us to move in together a lot quicker than we imagined. I think the most important thing is that we're both happy. We both feel like we can provide for this baby. It was only going to be now, it was going to be later anyway. But no, I'm not worried at all, and that's a really lovely feeling to be in. Okay, had you two ever discussed having babies before? We had actually discussed this because I wanted to know whether it was something Matt wanted to do in the future. So for me, it was quite important that at the beginning of the relationship, I knew where his head was at, because I said to him, I want to have children in like a few years, like 33, 34, like how does that suit you? We had discussed it and we said, yeah, you know, if this works out and it goes well and all good, then why not? What sort of parents do you two want to be? This is a hard question, because it's not something I ever even thought about previously. I don't even know what I need for a baby yet. I'm still learning. Like, I am Googling, I'm researching, I'm trying to like clue myself up on everything. The only thing that I can say about what parent I would hope to be is one that is really loving and that gives their child attention. I want to give my child everything that I didn't have as a child. I think it's a really difficult thing to say how you will be until you actually become parents. Question is, have you always wanted to be a mummy? I worry that I won't ever want to be. To be totally honest, I actually, a few years back, actually thought I wouldn't have children. So the turnaround has been absolutely substantial. It's crazy actually that I'm still pinching myself like, you know, I'm going to be a mum. But the difference is how you can go from feeling in that way to now feeling like I'm ready. I want this baby. I am gonna love it so much. I would say that I've never had maternal instincts. I've never been that person. And since seeing the scan at 12 weeks, I really felt the maternal instincts kick in, because I know that so many women have different experiences with this. Some people don't even have their maternal instincts kick in until they actually have the baby, and that's absolutely fine. I think whenever it works for you, no one prepares you or sets you up for how you're going to feel in motherhood at all. It's taken me by surprise how well I've actually adapted to the thought of being a mum. Sometimes it still freaks me out a little bit, thinking, oh my God, I'm actually going to be called mum. I'm actually becoming a mum. But I think that's only natural when it's unexpected and you really got to get your head around it. And to your question, whoever sent this one in, is I wouldn't worry about not wanting to be a mummy. I think it will happen for you if it's meant to happen. I would let nature take its course and your life take its course, because one thing I've definitely learned from this is that no matter what we try to control, try to plan, try to make happen in our lives, sometimes it just won't turn out the way that you necessarily had it planned. So you've got to ride the waves. Okay, how did you tell your family and friends? So it was a bit of a slow burner actually. I didn't go all in and tell everyone all at once, because I needed to get over the initial shock myself. The funny story about this is that my mum was actually here when I did the pregnancy test. So she was invited by Matt and I to come down and have like a day out. And we did, and I told her that I think I might be pregnant, because previously the night before I was projectile vomiting. I'd been on a night out with my friends and I honestly didn't think I was pregnant at this point until I was throwing up so much and I hadn't drunk anything different to what I usually would. And I just remember one of my friends, when we was in Vegas, was also projectile vomiting and she found out she was pregnant. So it triggered my memory and I thought, I'm pregnant that night. So that following day, my mum was around, and she was like, come on, let's do it, you've got to do it. And I was putting it off the whole day, and I did the test and obviously it came back positive. And I cried. I literally cried my eyes out in the toilet. And Yeah, I wish that I was more happy about it at that point, but I wasn't. For the first couple of weeks, I didn't tell anyone. I found out when I was 6 weeks. And I went to have a private scan with Matt at 8 weeks because we wanted to check that the baby was okay, and that it kind of cements that it's really real when that happens. I decided that after that, I was going to share the news with a few of my friends because I wasn't drinking anymore. So that was an obvious thing for me. What was your nan and granddad's reaction? I know that they're your world. Yes, they are. You're absolutely right. And to be totally honest, I was really worried about telling them because, as you can imagine, it's, you know, a different generation, and I've, you know, kind of always had my head screwed on thinking this is where I'm going, this is what I'm doing, this is how I want things to be, this is when I might get pregnant. My nan and granddad were so supportive and are so supportive. They've been absolutely incredible. You know, I told them around the dinner table, and my nan and granddad just gave me a cuddle and said, you know, nothing changes, we're here for you. So that's the best result I could have asked for. Question, will you find out the sex? I'm not sharing this one until part 2 so that you come back for more. If you enjoyed this video, obviously give it a thumbs up and give me a comment below, or if there's any other questions that you want me to add on to the next part, then please comment below. Hope you enjoyed watching this, and I will speak to you soon. Mwah!